Hit the right button. All right. Thank you, Jane, for coming regularly on the show and now sharing something you cook regularly. Or I guess I should say, tell us why you picked this.
This is one of the recipes that I cook a lot. I really like it, and my dad actually squeezed the recipe out of me because, like, I'm the sort of cook who I don't normally follow recipes. I just kind of throw in a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Well, I mean, a recipe should just be an inspiration for the artist, right?
Yeah. Then my dad squeezed the recipe out of me because I was going to be leaving and he wanted to make more of it. So he liked it.
So, well, I mean, I think the hardest thing, we were having discussion beforehand, we're talking about lentils, and there's lots of different kinds of lentils, right?
So the best kind for this are these red lentils, but I don't have that many, so I did half.
So red lentils, if you look here, are really small.
Yeah.
I actually cook red lentils probably twice a week.
This one, which is tur dal.
Oh, tur dal is a yellow lentil.
Yeah.
And that takes longer, more like a green or a black lentil. It takes about the same time. So like, if you actually have I cook this, if you have one of those like 2-cup rice cookers, I will cook basically the recipe I think we're doing today, but I'll also put rice in it and cook it together in the rice cooker, because this lentil disappears. It cooks in like, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah. And then it disappears. So if you go to an Indian restaurant, this is more like the dal soup you get, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but so yeah, when I make protein rice, so yeah. And so I did get some Thai rice to be able to maybe make that. We'll see how soupy it is. If it's really soupy, I'm going to add some rice to it.
This dish, you leave it on the flame for a really long time, and the lentils completely dissolve. And if you cook it for long enough, the onion and tomato also dissolves, and it kind of just turns into like this paste. But Lulu told me that she doesn't like it so mushy.
So I like a little sweetness, so I was going to throw in a carrot. And then I like savory, so I was going to throw in a little garlic, but that's just me mixing it up. So what is the basic stuff you need for your recipe?
So the basics are some sort of lentils. Red are best.
Have you ever used the Italian, what do they call it? The Italian green lentil?
French green lentils, they call them French green lentils. I think. That's a whole different kind of a
flavor, yeah.
Flavor, and they don't fall apart, so it depends on what you're looking for.
But these kind, like, they're not as good. They don't really dissolve. These kind don't really dissolve. They stay lentils.
Yeah, depends on what you're looking to do.
So if you like it, you know, with a lot of texture, but it also takes a long time to cook it. So, all right.
Yeah.
So your base though is, you said, well, lentils. What else?
So lentils, onion, tomato, and fresh. It's better, but I only have these. So these work fine too. But
so can I ask a question about the substitution here? Because I have 3 different kinds of tomatoes. I thought I had fresh tomatoes and I don't, and I didn't do my typical running to the store, but.
I actually I read somewhere that canned tomatoes are actually in the US healthier than fresh tomatoes, because fresh tomatoes are picked green for transport.
That's right.
Oh. I thought it would be the pesticides. They spray so many.
If you get organic, maybe not. So I have a very large can of organic diced tomatoes.
Yeah, you don't want a large can. You want a smaller can.
So the only small can I have is a smoked diced.
That's what I use at home.
Okay.
When I make anything almost that requires tomatoes and I don't have tomatoes, I have the smoked one. Oh man.
But my other question is, and I know this is a large can, but I heard from another chef that using whole tomatoes and crushing them up yourself is more, it's better in a way because you're getting more of the whole, because oftentimes the diced is iffy kind of tomatoes that don't pass for whole. But this is once again a large can, so.
I'd stay with the small
I mean,
can
you could
myself.
use either the large cans and use like half of it, or make double the amount that I'm making.
Okay, good idea. Because the smoked is definitely going to add a flavor that you're not intending in your recipe.
Yeah, but I mean, you can try it that way also. Or says that he likes smoked flavor. He's gonna.
I
That's
like the
all.
smoked flavored tomatoes because that's like the umami flavor.
But
Yeah,
this
but
is your
did-
cooking show, Jane, and I want your recipe, not ours.
But maybe or improves my recipe.
Okay, well, we need to do your base first.
Okay.
So,
So the first thing I do is so you can use olive oil. I have cocoa butter, but just melt some oil in this a little bit.
yeah, so I've got some coconut oil. Yep.
Is this going in the pan that we're ultimately cooking everything in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm using a mustard oil.
And so I'm using
Ooh, that'll change the flavor tremendously.
butter.
Mustard
Well,
oil.
that's what they usually use in India, so I'm using mustard oil.
On the bottom.
I'm also cooking last week's recipe too. The sweet dal we made last week. I'm making that too. That was the idea of sweet lentils. Wow, that blew my mind.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind as well. Okay, so then what I do next, and I'm not sure this is the order that most people do it, but I do next, I add the lentils in until they kind of crackle a little bit. You don't want them to like blacken or anything, but you want them to kind of absorb the oil a little bit.
Yeah, so you're toasting them to add flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been soaking my yellow lentils because I don't have red. So you're
Yeah.
saying scoop them out of the water and then
Yeah.
throw them into the oil?
Exactly.
Definitely drain the water off.
And you're saying about a half a cup?
Yeah, about a half a cup of lentils total. Except because you might want to make double, right? Are you making double?
I love the bags in other countries where they actually have the little plastic sticker to like then close the bag again. America doesn't tend to do that.
Yeah.
Now,
They're just
are
like-
you heating your oil, Jane?
Yeah, with lentils. Then you add the spices. So I think I have a tablespoon of garam masala.
Now I don't have garam masala, so I actually looked up and I have all the raw stuff.
Okay.
And so what garam masala is a little bit of cloves,
Black pepper,
black pepper, cardamom. I'll have to look up, oops. I forgot the recipe is, I just added it in the chat. So when new people join, Fred, if you could add that.
Yeah.
Now you want to just keep this lentils at probably the lowest temperature. You're just slightly roasting them, not burning them.
Yeah, you want to roast them without burning them, but wait until eventually they'll make like kind of a crackling noise. So you want them to make crackling noise. then you add a bunch of the spices, and then you want to cut up your onion and add your onion and your tomato.
Now, I've never done it with soy milk. I always just use water. That's
Yeah.
interesting to me.
You can use water, but I'm kind of based this recipe off of dal makhani, which uses cream. So I use soy milk.
Well, you know, I'm going to, what I have at hand is yogurt. So I'm going to use some yogurt in there.
And how finely are you chopping your tomatoes and onion?
Not super finely, like about this size. Basically.
But you like to cook it for a really long time, Jane,
Yeah,
right?
I cook it for a really long time and get this. The onions and tomatoes basically disintegrate after you cook this for 3 hours. So if you want to
3 hours.
Yeah.
If you want to cook it for
That's
less
why I
time,
love this red lentils. Is it's, you know, you can put it in a rice cooker. I mean, you can cook it in like 10 minutes.
yeah.
Right now, I'm opening the cardamom. I got the little cardamom pods, cracking them open for the little black seeds.
You know what I
inside.
did? I just blended my tomatoes and onions in the little
Or
blender.
do you get like natural cardamom in Israel? Does it grow there?
I don't know. I mean, I just got it, you know, it's a container, you know.
I mentioned earlier, I remember that in Israel, the Arab coffee has cardamom in it, or people use
Cut
it.
up your
Maybe Israeli people
onions,
also, but I think it comes from the Arabs.
your tomato, and then you
And
going to add
cardamom to the coffee, it's
into
really kind of
the,
nice.
Yeah, it's basically, isn't Israeli food a blend of like Middle Eastern and Mediterranean?
Yeah. I mean,
With, I mean, you know, other countries too. I mean,
yeah. Well, I found that the Arab-based food in Israel I enjoyed
So
much more
Israeli
than
food is
Eastern
very
European
different
food.
from kind of Eastern European Jewish food.
Exactly. That's why I say I like the well, this Israeli friend of mine, her aunt is from Yemen, so he cooks Yemen food.
The onion
It's really
and how
good.
much time and have this going.
all right.
How do you manage to cook that
Pretty
for several
dry, so
hours
that's when I add the
without
tomato.
it burning, Jane?
And like
How
if
do
you have a canned one, I wouldn't pour out any of the liquid, just add the whole thing. And it will make
Juice
kind of
and all.
interesting sound.
Fred, ask your question again.
How do you manage to cook it for 3 hours without burning it? Do you have to stir it all the time, Jane? She's not hearing me. It's okay.
I mean, if you just put it on a low simmer,
Yeah.
Yeah, even a low simmer. I don't know. I'm somebody that stands over their food when they're cooking, so I wouldn't be going for the 3 hour route.
Unless you use a slow cooker or something.
Yeah.
so the sweet one, I put cardamom, some cinnamon, and a clove. It's all right, but now I need to put the onion in here and the tomato.
Can I just ask a question? How long do you have to cook the lentils in the oil with the garam masala before you put the onion and tomato in?
When you have all of the things mixed together, just kind of leave it simmering a bit. And you're going to add, how much do I have?
The water or the soy milk?
1 cup soy milk and 1 cup water.
Uh-huh.
So I learned that if you get the oil and the spices you mix that all together and it just coats the lentils really well and spreads that flavor around.
Mm.
Yeah, and in Indian cooking, tempering the spices is just part of their cuisine. Is to
You're getting that oil and that spices like on
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
You're basically layering flavors on, right? You're also adding a nutty taste to it by burning or toasting the lentils. Now my red lentils, as soon as I add water to this, they'll be done in them. These particular lentils, they just disappeared. But so that means there's no texture. Then I like to add.
You have tomato in there yet?
Oh no.
Hey, Or, can I remind you that this is Jane's cooking show and not how you cook lentils?
I want to hear how Or cooks lentils.
All I'm saying is you are the chef, you have the cap, and I know, Or has his cooking.
I need a chef cap.
Yeah, that's a good point. I am talking over you, but
Okay. It's okay.
So I haven't added any moisture at all to mine.
Yeah, so what I do, and I don't know if I do it the best way, but once you add the liquid, you heat it up so that it comes to a boil, and then you bring it way down and put it on a simmer burner, and you leave it simmering for like hours. Just to
No, I'm trying to catch up, Jane. I am at the point where I have my garam masala and my lentils still kind of sauteing in the olive
that's
oil.
probably better. See, I'm sure I do it too quickly because Or is telling me that he still has it all dry, and I've already added my wet stuff.
So when do I add? So where I am at now is lentil, olive oil, garam masalas, and I am doing the yellow lentils, so they're going to take a little more time. When do I add onion?
So so you have the lentils in the oil, and you've kind of blended in the garam masala, turmeric. It's half a tablespoon of turmeric I add in. You don't need to do that, but I just do that.
No, I want to do your recipe. So turmeric.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and a bit of salt. I forgot the salt. So we'll do. I think I put a teaspoon of salt on the recipe.
I mean, mine's a little behind you because I didn't have garam masala, so I actually have to grind the fresh spices. But I still haven't added moisture to mine. I'm still frying it.
Yeah, because she said it takes
So then I have a teaspoon of salt. You want that?
Well, how much? Also, a teaspoon of salt and how much turmeric?
A half a tablespoon, or a little more than a teaspoon.
And you said okay, my sweet one add sugar. A crazy amount of sugar.
Yeah, crazy.
And I've never done the milk, but you said you put milk instead of cream in yours.
Yeah, so in mine you put half soy milk, or you could do milk or cream
And what about almond milk?
What are we serving, like chicken or chicken?
I like soy milk because it has a lot of protein, and lentils have a lot of protein.
Chicken or chicken?
You need to mute somebody.
No muting is needed, I don't think. Or maybe you can hear my dad. He's talking in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my salt, turmeric, garam masala and lentils in the oil.
With some cheddar from
Yeah,
Monday
so mix all
cheese.
that stuff together. Let it kind of heat up and cook for a bit, especially the turmeric, because turmeric, I've read that the chemical in it that's really only becomes activated when you heat it up. You want to make sure that your turmeric gets heated up so you get all the health benefits.
So I haven't actually added any water to mine. I just added milk and it seems to be enough. But I think I added more milk.
Am I adding onions next and tomatoes?
So yeah, then add your onion and then add the tomato. So
Now, do you add anything else? Because sometimes I've seen dal with potatoes or carrots in it.
So I don't, but you could add potatoes or carrots probably.
Well, especially this particular dal, this particular lentil cooks down and there's no texture.
Yeah.
Versus the yellow or the other lentils, you end up with some kind of texture.
Well, again, the length that I cook it dissolves the onion and tomato, it dissolves everything. So I don't think it much matter what lentil you use. Now,
instead of cooking it forever and ever, have you ever taken it out and then just ran it through a blender?
I haven't. You could do that. I think it would be kind of a cheating way to do it, but I don't know.
That's how we did the recipe last week. Is she actually ran the lentil? And do you usually soak your lentil beforehand?
I don't normally. This time I was boiling the tor dal a little bit because I knew that we wanted to make it go faster. Normally I don't soak them because normally I use mostly red lentils. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good.
Can I ask a question?
Oops. Yeah.
Do you I thought there was something about putting garlic in it.
No, I just wanted to put garlic.
Add? You wanted garlic.
Garlic is good. If you want to put garlic, you can add garlic. Should probably add that about the same time.
I'll mute again because my sister's watching.
It's not
TV.
in Jane's recipe, but anytime I put onions, I tend to put garlic. That's just my.
Yeah, all right. Me not having garlic in the recipe is probably more of an oversight because putting garlic in it would be good, I think. Okay.
But there is some people that there's health where you don't eat spicy food. I forget what that's called. You don't eat garlic, you don't eat onions.
Garlic and onion aren't what I would call spicy food. Spicy food is like chili pepper, which it blends of garam masala that have very minimal chili pepper because I don't like the kind of.
Some people are allergic to onions and garlic.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
But you can make this very spicy if you want. I've gone to Indian restaurants where you get dal from them and it's so spicy.
All right. So I've got mine both on low simmer.
Yeah.
But I like it with a lot of texture. Yeah. So I think mine will be done in about 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah. That's very, very different from how I cook it, but you can cook
I like it. I like the creaminess of the milk. I've never thought of putting milk in it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have. So I need to get a spoon out. I probably should go.
What about cow's milk? Is this just almonds or, if you're not a vegan?
Wow.
Pardon?
I mean, that's probably how they tend to do it with cream or milk in India.
Yeah, but the way I do it is the vegan recipe. So you just
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I just added yogurt to mine. And then I used one of these blenders that go in the pan. Here.
Oh.
Well,
I like it
for that to cook, I can also show people how I make.
Because I like it a little
chai if
smoother.
you want. I can
And
make
I'm tasting
chai.
it and it's delicious.
Yours is
And
already
mine's
cooked,
already
Barbara?
done. Yeah,
But
because
you
I
made
already
a small
soaked.
amount.
No, I soaked my lentils, and they were the red lentils, but I soaked them for about an hour. So I already finished with mine, and it's so good.
Well, I'm doing a kilo of, or 2.2 pounds of lentils.
I like the idea of using.
Lentils, oh my god.
But I also got a sweet. But
I like the idea of the immersion blender if you want to make a nice smooth dish.
Yeah. I like it
I
a
mean,
little
basically-
smoother. So
it amazes me the sweet one we made last week. I'm making it again.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get some dried fruits. Got figs, raisins, and almonds, some raw almonds to put on top of the sweet one. This savory one, I tasted it. The lentils, of course, aren't done, but I tasted the liquid,
Yeah.
and it's really
Yeah,
flavorful and creamy.
Lentils absorb the liquid.
So I'm using, Jane, twice as much lentils as you are. Can I add the larger can of tomatoes?
Yeah, if you're using twice as much, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Can
my
I-
groovy little new can opener that I absolutely love.
It's the one that
Then I'm
cuts
going to make
the
chai.
top off.
So you
It
add
is.
like 4 tea bags.
Tea
So you
bags
add
of
about
what?
4 tea bags. You can also do it like the traditional way to do it would be with just like leaves. They just use tea leaves, but I have tea bags.
Wait, you're putting tea bag? What's the tea bags? Are you just making tea or?
I'm making chai.
Oh,
You're
I
not
thought you were
putting
adding
it
the
in
tea
your
bag.
lentils.
I thought you were adding the.
Separate.
I was
This is
thinking you were
separate
putting
from
tea bags in
the,
your lentils.
Stop! Don't put tea bags
This
in
is-
your
Well,
lentils.
I'm waiting for the dal to simmer and cook. I can make chai.
You got 3 hours.
I'm not cooking it for 3 hours.
Make a lot of chai.
Mine's almost already cooked.
So Jane,
That's what I
yes
like
on
about
the
these red
juice
lentils.
from the can of tomatoes.
Yeah, just don't waste it. Oh, wait, sorry.
Pour the
Lulu.
whole thing in, liquid and all.
It's Lulu. It's Jane's recipe, everybody.
And Jane says pour in the liquid and the whole can of tomato, liquid and all.
We have
Don't
a
waste
lot
it.
of backseat chefs.
Yeah, that's because my parents are in the room. They're doing things. Sorry. This is what happens when you cook in your parents' house. My parents are in the room.
No, this is what you happen when you cook with Oren, Fred.
Well, where's Fred today? We don't have Fred.
I'm here.
All right, I'm chopping up some almonds to go with my sweet lentils. So let's see. Both Jane and Lulu are using the tur dal, which is the yellow lentils that take longer to cook. But did both of you soak them first?
I did for a nanosecond.
I did, yes.
And when do I add I have almond milk. Do I add that now? Jane?
Yeah, so you've added the onion and the tomato, then add the almond milk and water. Or you could just do 2 cups of almond milk if you wanted, but either. Well, I guess for you it's double, right? So for you, it'd be,
Mine looks like it's done. Let me taste it.
okay.
See, I mean, that's the thing about red lentils is they dissolve quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost see no texture at all already.
But your
Wait,
onions
let
are
me
cooked
first add
already?
the stuff to the chai, so
My onions haven't disappeared like Jane likes them, but they are cooked.
That's only
that's
been
because I
like,
cooked them for much longer than you, or
Yeah, you
this is gonna be
cook it
sitting
more African style where you cook it down to a paste, yeah? More like
Yeah.
what do they
The
call
shorter
that?
the cooking time, the more you want to chop your onions up.
But my sweet one isn't cooked yet. It's only, that's interesting.
So
But the
for
sweet one
chai-
has less liquid in it. So
chai,
that's
you
interesting.
can add a bunch of spices like whole nutmegs and cloves and everything. But the important ones is you want to add some cardamoms, you want to add cinnamon, and you want to add pepper. And some cardamoms.
Yeah, I like using garam masala for making like apple pie or like a Caribbean spice cake.
Cinnamon stick.
So you have, all right.
Yeah, cinnamon stick.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we've got some
And some peppercorns.
chopped up
These are
figs.
spices going in your chai, right?
Into a chai.
Peppercorns.
Into a chai.
Okay.
I should make some chai too.
Let this boil, and once it kind of boils, you add about as much soy milk or almond milk or whatever as you have water, and then wait for it to boil again. But you have to watch your chai very closely because it will boil over. So you have to watch it very, very carefully. And then when it boils again, you just turn it off and it's ready.
Because I mean, is it a black tea?
Yeah, it's chai, so it's
Yeah,
it's
so-
a black tea. I have Thai food decaf, and so you
So
put
if you-
this.
I mean, black tea, if you make it boil it too much, it becomes bitter, right?
Well, you want to add sugar also to the chai. Like how much sugar you add is however sweet you want it to be. If you don't add any sugar, it tastes kind of icky. So add some sugar to it. But the other one, so how I normally serve this dal is, it's good with like if you have rotis or naan bread or that thing. But if you don't, what I found is you can toast a piece of like whole grain bread and then put the dal over the whole grain bread, and on the top put a little bit of yogurt. I have soy yogurt. You can use any type of yogurt, and then sprinkle some cumin seeds. So these are cumin seeds. Put these on top.
So you put the cumin seeds. Are we talking about the chai?
No, in with the dal.
You're talking about serving the dal on a piece of toast.
Bread and put
And you
that in
put-
the bowl. Then
You're putting some.
dal,
Okay.
and then I add a bit of yogurt on top, and then I put the cumin seeds on top of the yogurt.
Wow, that's intense. Fresh
Yeah,
cumin?
like
I've never done fresh cumin. seeds.
Yeah, you need to have cumin seeds.
I mean, like this whole pot right here, which is 1 pound of lentils, has 3. Oh, you said cumin, not cardamom.
No, not cardamom, no.
There we go. I was confused. Sorry about that.
These things.
There's a big difference there.
Yeah, there's a big difference. No, you don't put any cardamom in this. You put cardamom in the chai. In the chai, you put some cardamom pods.
All right.
Well, Fred, you're really missing some good lentils here. Where's Fred? He left. Maybe he had to go get something to eat.
I've got vegetable korma I made in my freezer I can have for lunch.
Nobody commented on my supervisor who's outside the window. See, right there.
Oh, yeah, your supervisor. Well, no one commented, or because I think nobody joined. I only see 2 of you and 3 of us.
There's
5.
There's 8 people. 8 people here.
So.
There's 8 people here.
So let me show you mine, what it looks like, and I think I'm gonna be cooking it for a while, like Jane does.
That yellow dal takes a long time to cook.
Well, yeah.
I have mine shut off.
I did red dal and I
either want to cover it, or you're going to be adding water a lot because it will dry up. If it's not covered, it will dry up.
So I'll watch it. It's very liquidy now, but I do want it to thicken, right?
Yeah, you want it to thicken. It should, but by the end, it's basically like a paste.
Yeah, I'll let it cook down. There's a lot of liquid, and I think everything is, like, the tomatoes and onions are still solid, and so is the lentil.
And the tomato and onion, you might see a few like skins or chunks, but you're not really gonna have big chunks of anything.
Well, I'll watch it as it cooks. If it gets too dry, I'll add more water.
Like, honestly, I leave this on here. Oh, my chai's going. I leave this on here, and then it takes hours to, get ready.
But see, look at mine. I shut mine off like a while ago, and it's still slightly simmering. But I mean, the onions are still there, of course, but. And the onion and carrot, but everything else is. And I mean, if I look real close, I might find a tomato. I think that's a tomato. It's all. Oh yeah, I need to taste it.
And again, if you didn't want those bits in there, you could use an immersion blender and just blend it.
Yeah. Now versus the sweet one. I'm still having to cook it because part of it is the process of cooking it. You don't put much moisture in it. You want to keep it really, it's basically the milk. You're trying to cook the milk away and trying to keep it really thick. So, but what else did you put in the chai? I forgot.
So the chai, you have 3 tea bags, or 4. I think I put 4, and we get a couple tea bags. Fill about this, halfway. Well, okay, maybe a third of the way with water, and then you add a cinnamon stick or 2, some peppercorns. You can use ground pepper, but it's much easier to use whole spices because then you just strain it out very easily. And then you add cardamom pods, not the powdered cardamom, but the whole pods.
Yeah. If you do use a whole one.
Yeah, so a couple of whole ones. Like I added like 5. I mean, you can add as many as you want.
And then one trick is if you do use whole cardamoms and you cut them open to get the black out for cooking, save the green part for tea.
Yeah. And then you pour in a lot of sugar because otherwise it will be bitter. It won't taste good.
And what is your black tea? Your tea
So
bag?
I just use decaf black tea. You can use whatever type of tea you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever tea. I think that
It could be an orange Pico or an English breakfast. It could be any black tea.
Yeah, like any sort of, English breakfast, Assam tea, whatever type of tea you like, you can use. And then so you bring that to a boil, and once the water with the tea bags is boiling, you add an equal amount of milk or soy milk or almond milk or something like that, and you bring it to a boil again. But this is when you have to really watch it, because it will, if you turn your back even for a second, when it's cooking, it will overflow. I've had this happen to me so many times.
and I think you don't want to boil black tea very long because it turns bitter.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely recommend when it's done, strain it out. Oh, here it's going. Okay, it's going. Oh. Okay, it's going to overflow. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. It's overflowing. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Woo! Right before your eyes.
Overflowing. Okay. So then I have this nice little lid that I can use this to strain it, because nothing I have in there is smaller than those little holes, so I can just pour it through that and strain it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think I have that same cookware set because I have one with holes like that too.
Put some chai in here.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, what did you do that you made yours so quick? Or she's not there.
All right, what did you say, hon?
I said, what did you do to make yours so quick? You said you soaked the red lentils.
I took the red lentils and I soaked them in a little water in a bowl for about an hour or so before the show. So then, and I used mustard oil, but I put the spices into the mustard oil because that's how they do it in India. They always put the spices into the oil right away. And then I added, I didn't,
are there more people in this Zoom I cannot see?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 8 people.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I had blended the tomato and onion together in the little smoothie blender. You know what I mean? So
that'll speed it up.
Yeah, and then I added that right away. I let it come to a boil. Then I added the lentils. They're almost cooked already because they've been soaked. And then I cooked that a little bit. Then I added a yogurt.
Do with this doll that I found,
and it was so delicious.
If I'm like,
I had 2 bowls already.
But I want to kind of keep simmering. Is you just like turn it off?
I like my
just
soup
leave it covered, and when you come back like 2 hours later, or whatever, it's continued cooking a little bit.
Well, I happen to like soup that's a little runny.
Yeah, I don't know the way
I don't like
does
it
it,
thick.
but the way I do it, this is not an instant recipe. This is like a make it now, this will be my dinner tonight sort of recipe.
Well, you could use a slow cooker. Then you don't have to come back to it. If you had a slow cooker, you just do it all in the slow cooker.
All right, my chai, I'm bringing it back up to a boil with the milk. And then I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any final comments or questions before we start eating?
I've already eaten 2 bowls.
Well, I like your tip where you got the onions and tomatoes and you blended it together first, then it cooks. That's very much, I remember learning that that's how a lot of African, what do they call it? Where you cook the tomatoes down into where it doesn't really taste like tomatoes anymore.
Yeah. You can also use like tomato paste or something. I've done that before in the past.
Yeah, if you
But
had
yeah, you don't want
tomato
like big
paste, you could use
chunks
that.
of tomato in it. Or at least I don't, you know, for me, this is like a very mushy thing. I don't know.
You like it mushy or no? Jane, how do you like it thick? How do you like it? Do you hear me?
I don't think she can hear you, Barbara.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
That's
like
weird.
she's hearing me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Jane, you can't hear Barbara?
No.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
But I don't think Jane can.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Jane
should
can't see
leave
me.
and come back. I cannot hear.
Yeah, I think that's why everybody's talking over her. She cooks it till it's mush. She lets
It's
it.
kind of thick, kind of a thick, a mushy.
Lulu knows I like things mushy.
And she does cook it for a long time. So I've tasted mine. It's delicious, but my dal is still crunchy. My tomatoes are still whole. My onions are still there. So I'm going to do what Jane did. And I'm just going to let it sit there and I'll watch it and add more liquid if I need to. But my house smells wonderful and it tastes good, albeit crunchy, but it'll be a little bit before mine is done. But I'm patient when it comes to food.
Yeah, that's the tour dal. Takes longer to cook. So,
Yeah.
all right. Any last questions, comments? Thank you,
I want to know
Jane.
what time it is right now in Israel.
Thank you. I'm glad I
What
was
time,
able to do
what
this.
time is it now in Israel?
Almost 10 p.m.
Oh, 10 p.m. Oh,
You
so
should
you're
go to
cooking at
sleep.
night. Okay.
And you're a day ahead.
No,
We're on the
just-
same day. Same day. Okay.
Same day right now, but it's the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 2 p.m. in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Jane, do you have any final comments? Thank you.